Inside there, I'll have a folder name for each skin that I'm creating or that I'm designing or working with over time. So basically, you got skin package 1, skin package 2, and so on. And inside each one, you can see I have a skins folder and a containers folder. All right, just like the packaging of the zip files. That makes it incredibly easy to be able to manage all this. So if you don't already do that, that's a huge tip. That'll keep you organized forever as far as skins go. All right. Overriding DNN skin styles. DNN comes with a default style sheet. If you're not already familiar with that, that tells basically the default skin what attributes to have for the page. So if you forget to do something, it has a look. All right, it's not just going to be out there with a default browser style. Okay, and that can be found at the path that you see there. Basically, what you want to do when you're developing your own skin is you want to override several styles. All right, those are the most common ones to do. You want to make sure your skin objects have a style, which includes some, they also have anchor tags for skin objects, and so on. And the ones with the stars, that means there's several different class names like that, but there's a star, there's a wild card, so it means there's several normal something, normal bold, normal red, things like that. All right. Now we're going to talk about panes. All right. A pane is an area on the web page where a module can be dropped onto the page. You saw Brian earlier, he put a module on the page and it was in a very specific section. Okay? As you can see here, everything has a place. This is the most common pane structure that you'll see out there for pretty much any skin because it's very flexible. You have spots for everything on the top, in the middle, you can have navigation areas on the side, all these things. And what you usually have on most websites is a header and a footer. Okay? So that's the typical structure you see. All right. Now, working with panes, the content pane is the only required pane. All right. It's like that for many reasons. One of the reasons is when you go to an admin page, it needs to know where to put that admin module. So when the page loads, it looks for content pane. If it's not there, you get an error. All right. Things look broke, and you're like, whoa, what happened? You need a content pane. It needs to be named content pane. And I'll show you what a content pane looks like. Actually, it's on the bottom of the slide. Content pane for any pane. Whatever the name is an ID tag, run at server. Okay? So that's something that's not HTML compliant, but it becomes HTML compliant on the back end once it gets rendered. Visible equals true. Okay? That makes the pane visible. You don't have to put the visible equals true in there because that's the default. I just put it in there for reference so you can see that. Okay? And depending on which side of the fence you are on pure CSS versus tables, there's the two different ways to do it, using either a div or a TD. Okay? And you can use both. It doesn't matter. So basically, a pane can be made to collapse. As you saw, there's a 3-column format in that last slide. You saw the 3 columns, pane, pane, pane. You can make one of those panes collapsible by putting visible equals false into it. All right? And I'll show you in the next slide a little bit more detail. But more importantly, always name your panes appropriately. What does appropriate mean? Well, appropriate means you want it to be reflective of what that pane is. You don't want to name the top pane, obscure pane name. You don't want to do that. You want to name it something very intuitive. And keeping along that line of thought, when you look at other skins, you're going to see things that are very common. You're going to see top pane, bottom pane, left pane, right pane, okay, banner pane. You want to try to keep along those same lines just to make your skin somewhat standard. There's not really a standard out there, but just keep your skin standard. So if somebody's switching to your skin or from your skin, but most importantly to your skin, all right, the modules will still go in the same places. So, for instance, if the last skin had an obscure skin name, all right, for one of their panes, and they just go to yours, whatever that was in there, if it was on the top or the bottom or somewhere else, it's going to end up in the content pane no matter what. All right. So that's the other reason that you want to make sure that you have a content pane in there. If the skinning engine doesn't know where to put that module, it's going to look for the content pane, and if it can't find it, an error. Okay. Here's the tip in collapsing panes. As you can see, visible equals false there instead of visible equals true. That's all you do. Very easy. So when there's no modules in that pane, it collapses when the page opens. Now, there's an important distinction here, though. When you are logged in as yourself, you're obviously going to be an admin or a host, all right? So you're going to be able to see everything. When you're logged in, you're going to see all the panes no matter what. But when you log out or you go into view mode, the ones that don't have modules in it, they're all going to go away, as long as visible equals false is in your pane name, or your pane tag. Okay? Any questions on the collapsing the panes? No? Nobody wants to share? Yes, sir.
Show me the grid again where the center, right, left. Where's the content?
Typically, that's a great question. If you want to share, you can come up and get it. Typically, the content pane's in the center. All right. But basically, you can put the content pane wherever you want. You have full, you have full range as a designer. You can have it wherever you want. But typically, it's in the center of the page. Yes, sir. You can only get one shirt.
Okay. I'm so big I may need to. If you put visibility equals false, it makes it collapsible. But how do you get it to not show up at all?
Well, that's what happens. It doesn't show up at all.
Okay.
That's exactly what we mean by collapsing. That would deserve another shirt, but
so the content pane, if it were the center pane, could occupy all three.
Exactly. So, for instance, typically in skin designs, the content pane would be in the middle one. The left and right pane usually would have a visible equals false. Okay. So if the only place that you had content in that center section was the content pane, or the only place you had the module, those other panes would go away when the page is rendered. Okay, as long as you're not logged in as an admin. All right.
Isn't that a default setting that the two sides start off, the left and right start at visible equals false? Because if you only have another pane, it's suppressed.
No, that's something you have to do because the default is true. Yes.
What happens if you don't split content in the left or right? That is left is true.
That space is still going to be taken up. Yes, sir. You can get a shirt too. You have to come up with the shirts, though. I can come out to you, and I can't throw that far. Go John Rocket. Oh, look at all these hands go up all of a sudden. Extra large, good. There you go. Yes, ma'am. Pink shirt. Yes.
And you want to collapse the other two on the side. Can you customize the center one, keep it out, and then don't mark any space, and customize the sizes of the different panes here in the center?
If I understand you correctly, you want to make sure that you have the width of the content pane set in case the other ones collapse. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically, that's a design question as far as CSS and HTML and how they relate. But usually, you have the left and right pane have a specific width because that way they will take up that space instead of collapsing on their own because content pane ends up being big. So then, a lot of times, what you do is the content pane be 100%. Now that's talking as not a pure CSS person. So there's a lot of people right now cursing me in their head. So I tend not to go pure CSS, and if you want to talk about that offline, we can. All right. And if you would like shirt, ma'am, you can come up and get one. Yes, sir.
You might be getting into this later. Is this the only pane layout that's available, or
No, you can have panes whatever way you want.
whatever you want?
Yeah, any way you can create the HTML. Whenever you have a block element, whether it's a table cell, whether it's a div, anywhere that you can put that, it can be a pane.
So then what's the difference between creating a different layout and just turning a pane to be not visible?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one.
If I make a pane not visible, wouldn't I be better off just changing my layout so that I can eliminate the pane?
Well, you could, but it's not as flexible. So, with that one layout, you can use that on multiple pages. So you don't have to have a skin file. What he was asking is, would it be better to have multiple skin files? Like one has maybe just the left pane and the content pane. The other one has the content pane and the right pane and not the left pane. All right. It's better to have them both because that way you can use it across all the pages and you have that one skin file to manage. All right. You don't have the multiple skin files to manage with the left and rights. Okay. And if you'd like to share, you can come up, sir. Any other? Oh, there's another.
So when you're saying it's collapsing, it's basically not rendering that element, that pane at all?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I see a performance issue with, like with this question, that's something we've had with in the past, is you get some of these skins, they have 20 panes on them, but you only use 3. Is it really rendering all of the other panes? I mean, it's bandwidth you don't want to use up.
Yeah, that performance issue is one of my slides later. I'll talk to you about that. Yes, sir.
A lot of skins use table layouts.
Yes.